I think that let's go ahead and get started. So thank you all for joining the development retrospective. Please feel free to ask any questions in the chat. And I'd like to introduce my fellow co-panelists, Dan Wrights, Sanjay, and Vijay. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves really quickly?
Yeah, sure thing. Hey guys, Dan Wrights. I'm the program manager here at Topcoder, overseeing all of our projects that are focused on the government and the public sector.
Hey guys, Sanjay here. My handle is dtopcoder. I'm a senior program manager with Topcoder and working on multiple projects and program. You might have worked with me already. Thank you, guys.
Hi guys, this is Vijay, working as a principal program manager in Topcoder. I've been working a couple of accounts. Hope you remember. I work with most of you guys. Thanks for joining.
That's a good introduction. Thank you, guys. So if you don't know, Vijay, Dan, and Sanjay, and we all work on the expert services team at Topcoder. So the ES, or expert services team, we partner with our co-pilots and our members to run challenges and ship code to our clients. We're in the forums with our co-pilots and members, answering questions, setting up code in GitHub or GitLab, and helping clients deploy it. So our jobs are very complex in that they run from end to end on software development. So that includes design, development, testing, and deployment, and then in some cases post-deployment support. So now I want to talk a little bit about the history of Topcoder. So Topcoder was started in 2001 by Jack Hughes, and the story goes that his son was participating in a chess tournament, and he saw that there was a rating system for chess players, and he, at the time, he had a software development company called Talon, and he was interested to see how could he rank developers. So he founded Topcoder with the idea that ranking and rating developers will allow him to help build code for our customers. So when we started in 2001, this is what our website looked like. It's very simple. It was focused on SRMs, what we called tournaments at the time. These were where we would pose algorithmic problems to the community, and then the community would solve them. And depending on how often they participated and how often they won, their rating would increase. And we introduced levels for their ratings, anywhere from green to red. In 2002, we had a radical redesign of the website, and you start to see things are changing. So in 2001, things were a lot more simpler. 2002, we were up to 21,790 members. And then on the right, you can see our old logo in the brackets, and we used to be called Topcoder Software. And then on the right, you can also see the schools that we worked with, where we had Topcoder Collegiate Championships, and then also the Division I coders. In 2006, we're going to fast forward 4 more years, and then we'll do four years from here on out. We hit 100,966 members. Also, in 2006, you can see that we had Topcoder Studio up here in the top right. We also had Topcoder High School, where we started to work with high schools to launch tournaments. So previously, in the decade before, we had at Topcoder SRMs. That's where we started. And then we moved to Topcoder Studio, and then we had Topcoder Collegiate Championships. We had Topcoder High School. In 2010, you started to see us start to streamline our offerings. But we hit 276,973 members. Our client base started to grow. In 2014, this was around the time that Topcoder was acquired by Perios. We invested a lot into the platform to change how people interact with the challenges. So we did a complete refresh on the site. In 2018, we hit 1 million members, which is a major milestone for us. And finally, in 2020, we are now at 1.5 million members. So our growth is faster than ever, and we also have more types of challenges for people to compete in than we have before. So who do we work with? We work with a wide variety of clients across multiple industry verticals, anywhere from Zurich and finance and insurance to Harvard Medical School and healthcare and life sciences, to Honeywell and manufacturing and high tech, to even NASA. So what's changed? Now at Topcoder, when we look back over the last 19 years, we have focused on a couple of key areas: UI, UX design, development, data science, and quality assurance. And the type of work that you can do with Topcoder is very, very specific. Now we launch challenges to automate test cases. We launch challenges to build computer vision algorithms. We launch challenges to build React Native-based hybrid applications. We launch challenges to do not only UI design, but UX testing, looking at the usability of a proposed application or an existing application and saying, hey, where do we see any issues? All right, so now we're gonna move on to going through some case studies. And Sanjay, Dan, and Vijay and I will talk about some of the work that we've done over the last couple of years. So we're going to start with a series of applications that we've built for a very large bank. And what they wanted us to do was they wanted us to build an application that will work with independent financial advisors. So it's a bank, and they have contractors across Europe and across the world that will work with that bank and then send customers to them, and they'll resell services for that bank. So this application allows these independent financial advisors to navigate the process of becoming a customer of the bank and then reselling their services. We got a lot of feedback from the community. There was a lot of input from the crowd around how we could bridge the gap, because there are 4 different user experience paths or personas that would interact with the application. So we ran a lot of work in parallel, and then we had about $100,000 budget, and it took us about 6 months to get this done. The client is very, very happy with the application that we had built for them. All right. And this is a brief screenshot of the application. And you can see on the left, it shows the progress for the independent financial advisor to complete their forms, questions around the type of company that they already have set up, and then tax declarations. Cool. So that was an application that could not have been built without the community, our talented community or design and development community. So I want to thank you all for the excellent work that you've done. Topcoder is really cool in that, you know, that saying, it takes a village, and I think it takes a village to build really cool apps for our customers. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next project, which is an iOS and Android pet tracker application. I don't want to steal Vijay's thunder, but this project was really cool. We initially started with just a little piece, and then it moved on to a bigger piece, and then we ended up doing like most of it. So this is a testament to the power of the Topcoder community. The client took a risk, they trusted us, or they took a risk in trusting us, and they ended up being very, very happy with the work that you all did, and then they continued down that path. So without much further ado, I'm going to pass over to VJ to talk about the specifics of the pet tracker apps. VJ?
Yeah, Rash, right. This is one of the interesting application where it is not like a typical app, where we did it for a pet tracking application. So this is one of the best part is like in the design and development part. We like the community was very cooperative, and it was like within a short time frame of 90 days, we was able to develop the entire project, which was like the budget was around 150K, where the automation of this, like we did it in very good automation, and challenges were launched parallelly, and we are able to get it done. And the end output was really very good. The client was well satisfied with the way the app works in. And the design part, we developed certain icons like pet tracking icons, which was like much more, which was like ease to this project. They really loved it. Thanks for the design team who did that, the design icons. And I want to appreciate my one of the co-pilot, like development co-pilot Chandler, who did a tremendous job in this particular project. So, and this was like, it gained the confidence of the customer in much quick way, and it has yielded several projects after this. So thanks for the team who did, and thanks for my design co-pilot and the development co-pilot who did an awesome job.
Awesome. So I think, Harshit, do we wait until the end to see if there's any questions, or should we see if there are any now?
So basically, if I get any questions related to what you're talking about right now, I'll just bring it up to you guys.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Thank you. So we would love to hear from you guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to add a comment or speak up, and one of us will tackle that question for you. VJ, I think you did an incredible job on this. I think we should just call it a program, because there was so much work that was involved in doing this, and building what you did in such a short amount of time is amazing. Building a simulator to test the application before the actual hardware was done was a stroke of genius. So good job on this, and thank you to everyone in the community that was involved in helping to build an awesome product. Once it's live and it's in stores, like, we will definitely let everyone know, so you can go and check it out. I personally think it would be really cool to see a hardware product out in the market that Topcoder primarily built, and then you go out and buy it. I have a dog myself, so I would definitely be interested in buying this pet tracker app. Thank you again, VJ.
We have a question, Rosh and Vijay.
Sure.
So Lewis is asking, what kind of pets did the app caller support?
Can you come over again? Sorry for that.
What kind of pets did the app support?
It's all pet, like dog, especially dog. We are like any kinds of pet can be maintained through this app. Just we need to have that hardware device connected to the pet NIC. That's it.
Okay, awesome.
Cool. All right, thank you. And Vijay, you want to talk a little bit about the features here?
Yeah, sure. So you can see this is the app which we developed. It's an end-to-end app for a pet. Okay, we can set a reminder for your app for your pet, and you can set daily goals and what are his activities. And we have adventures like in a day it should cover some amount of distance by walking. So that kind of settings can be done. And at any point of time, you can track where is the pet. Since we have that hardware device, you can track that. And we have health, like monthly health rotation and doctor checkup. All this will be maintained in the health app. Okay. And in addition to this, like it shows like nearby doctors available for the pets. All those details will be available in this app. So you can see the adventures and device screen, and you can. The key part of this, like we can set a safe zone for your pet. If like a pet is going out of the safe zone, you will have an alarm, like you'll have a trigger for your emails, and you will also get some notification to your mobile phones. So that's one of the key feature of this app. And you can see like at any point of time, you can track your pet where it is, and is it in safe zone, or it is going outside, is it even it is sleeping, like all those features has been, it's like a complete end-to-end package. And it really helped. It's like you can have multiple apps, like in sense like multiple pets, not apps. It's like, sorry for that. You can have a multiple pets in one singular app. So we can track even like around 6 to 8 pets in this app.
Awesome. Very cool. Does this work for children too?
I'm sure it can.
Yeah. Just playing. All right. Thank you, Vijay. Now we're going to talk about market price optimization. This is a web application that we had built for a very large technology company. The number of screens is mind-boggling, and the type of work that was being done was extremely complex. And now here to talk about it is Sanjay.
Thanks, Raj. Yep. Yeah, I cannot name the company here. It's a very important application. It's the internal application for this tech company, and they do even a hardware which sells anywhere in the world. They do the price optimization using this internal app, which their business teams use, and they use this application intensively across all the applications team within their organization. So the main idea behind why we were doing this and what happened here. So there is a gist, like, see, the old application was built using Adobe Flex and Silverlight. Adobe Flex is going out of warranty, out of support at the end of the year. The whole application got rewritten. Am I audible, guys?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you are now.
Thanks.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. So this whole application was rewritten into using the Angular UI framework. If you see on the left side, these are the rough estimated screens which we were doing till a week or 2 weeks back, and this has increased again in last 1 or 2 weeks. We have again found some new screens. This was a mind-boggling, very complex app. So Rash, I would like to go to the next screen, next slide, and want to come back. Yeah. So if you see here, the 3 screens, these are one single, like on the left side, that's one screen. To complete that screen, and you have to click maybe 20 times, you have to fill maybe 30 information, and then you can complete that one single screen. Same way, if you see on the right side, right top corner, you might see a pop-up. The pop-up is, it's like you will see like 20 options. That 20 option is just related to one single screen which you see in the background. Like you can do that many functionalities just on that screen. And if you see below, that's like colorful screen on the right bottom. That's like you can do edits, you can do a lot of things. And if you look at this, the idea behind me showing you these screens, look at the complexity of these screens. These are, on an average, all the screens looks like this. But we have some uh, easy screens, but this is the average screen. Across the application, this is the average screen look. So maybe Raj, you want to go back to the first slide? Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so if you see 140 plus screens, right now, the current is somewhere around 160 plus screens. We have already designed, signed off, close to I would say, I think 130 screens we have already developed. This project is started almost maybe 3 months, maybe 10 days, like kind of 100 days back. And we have achieved this in last 100 days. So if you see this amount of astronomical work which has gone, and a great applaud to the co-pilots here. Like I could not have done without Victoria, who was she was our design co-pilot on this, and Quinn, the development co-pilot. I could not have achieved this work without the help of these guys. And to make it more complex, so if you see the focus points, we had hard deadlines because the original out of very soon. So they wanted to do it in a fixed timelines. So we cannot go out of it. And to understand these screens, we had live demos. So not even documents we have to be on the live demo, understand those complex screens, what you have seen, and understand on click of what happens, how to load the data, and on click of what not to do. So those understandings on a live demos, uh, how it was made successful, because from this start we made it sure that we understand the bigger picture, how this whole application to understand the flow. The complexities were on this application was very high, and this was a continuous delivery. Like every week we were delivering 10 to 15 screens on design side as well as on development side. It was a seamless collaboration between clients and Topcoder, but again, it was a team effort between all our co-pilots, the community, and the client. Awesome job, you guys. The fun facts, since this application, if you see one kind of 160 screens, this application was so complex, even the clients, they have only few people who only knew about few modules. But at the Topcoder end, we knew everything. So sometimes on the client calls, I'm telling them how this application works, because most of their guys, they only know some part of the application. They don't know the other part of the application. And our co-pilot, I think now they are the SME on this application. So, but like, it was a cool project to work on. One of the most complex projects I have worked till date, and in the shortest timeline, for sure. That's all, Raj, from me. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you. So one thing that we forgot to mention was who worked on the previous application. So BJ, do you want to tell us a little bit about who helped you out on the pet tracker apps?
Yeah, sure. I just want to say about that. Yeah. First is like I just want to thank my the development co-pilot Stanley. The way we did the automation, that too in 90 days, having a huge amount of functionality to be covered, that too with a simulator. The level of automation we both used to sit together, and it is like in weekly basis, like we need to give demo to the client, okay, ensuring that we are in right track. So the level of commitment from the co-pilot for this project was really incredible. I just want to say big thanks to Stanley. And in terms of design, there are few folks worked on this project, okay. It's not one, like I can thanks to say some like Wiki and also some other co-pilots have been worked on this project. So thanks to them, okay. Because the part of the design is already done by the client team, and we just made a further addition to that designs, okay. And more in terms of in execution, real flavor in terms of this project is in terms of development, we had very hard deadlines, okay. And we are able to make every week a demo to the client, ensuring that we are in track, and we are giving the functionalities in weekly basis, ensuring client is getting that success. Like this product is going to be an awesome product, okay. We ensured from day one till the 90th day. So that was the biggest achievement of this project. I like to thank the community members who worked in, and also the co-pilots and the design co-pilots. And I also want to thank Vignesh, my team member, who has spent our time out for this project. You did an awesome work by collaborating the flow, the pet flow. How does the features can be much more make it better? All those key features has been fine-tuned by Vignesh, who is Topcoder member. Thanks for him. He played a more key role for this project, having in 90 days getting the entire app, making as a huge package and getting it delivered, and ensuring that is getting the client's credibility is the biggest thing. So thanks for Stanley and other design co-pilots, and to Vignesh. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Vijay. And then I just want to do a quick shout out to my co-pilot on the IFA app, and that's Wendell. Wendell, if I'm sure everyone on this call knows who Wendell is. He's just that guy that everyone goes to. And Wendell, thank you for doing an amazing job, not only on this project, but on every project that you do. And we could not have built this without your hard work and dedication. All right, let's jump to the CDC Text Classification Marathon. Dan?
Hey, everybody. Yeah, so this project that we did with the CDC really kicked off in the fall of last year, 2019, so I think in October. And we had a really great opportunity to work with the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. So if anyone's not aware, specifically outside of the US, their critical role in the US government is to protect public health and safety via controlling and preventing of diseases, injury, and disability, specifically in the workplace. And so when they came to Topcoder, this is a very, very integral aspect of what the CDC needs to do, is to run these classification methods to actually help protect the workplace. So a little bit about it. The CDC receives tons and tons of data of categorized data around workplace injuries and how they're reported. There's a very large classification system that all of these injuries need to be put into. And we look at this stuff, and they use this to determine whether we need new safety regulations, whether we need to kind of change workplace rules, and really to protect workers around the United States. So they came to us and they said, all right, what we're really hoping to achieve here is a very high level of accuracy when we are looking at all of these different messages that come through. And they do want to have a pretty good amount of submissions and kind of participation from around the world. And what the real story here in this is how incredibly successful this challenge was. And right now is a big shout out to Jingbo, who is our co-pilot on this project, or Dr. Shang, if you don't know him. The customer was extremely excited to work with him. He has incredible credentials in this field. And so that went a really long way into creating a very successful challenge. And as you can see from all the different stats here on this page, we really, really knocked this challenge out of the park. We went from 87 to 90% accuracy with the actual solutions, and I have more on that here in a minute. And we actually had 46 contestants who beat that 87% accuracy mark, which is just absolutely incredible. And also, when you look at marathon matches more so than the design and development challenges, competitors can submit multiple times. And we have a pretty good estimation for how many of those submissions we'll expect to see over the course of a challenge. And this one far exceeded every expectation that we have. We actually had 66% above the average submission volume, as you can see with the total amount of submissions of 961. And the graph on the right really just shows sort of the breadth of the Topcoder community. The one highlighted pink sliver on there is highlighted that for a reason. It was too small to write the name, but those are our 2 registrants from Antarctica that were actually very interested in taking on this challenge. So that was pretty cool. So this was a really, really great challenge. We ended up wrapping it up right on time in January of this year. And so it was a outstanding thing to be a part of. The CDC was extremely pleased. Had it not been for the current COVID scenario, we were actually going to be on a promotional tour through different universities at this point in time. But it looks like we'll have to take a rain check on that and just start promoting it once we can all hang out and be together again.
Awesome. Dan, can you tell us a little bit about what the CDC stands for and what they do?
Yeah, so their main goal is just to protect public health and safety. They really do that through controlling disease and injury and disability in the United States. So the most people think CDC and they've seen The Walking Dead specifically, and they think, how is the CDC going to prevent big diseases like zombies or even like Ebola outbreaks, and of course, COVID and everything that's happening right now. And that's where you'll typically see and hear from the CDC. The lesser known facts are specifically here in North America, when you are in a workplace and you're required to tuck your tie in or not have a name badge hanging from a lanyard, things like that. The CDC has most likely had a part in kind of establishing those safety regulations from watching workplace injuries and identifying that, hey, in the course of a day-to-day job, people can get hurt in just doing those jobs. So how can we help make those workplace environments safer to kind of protect all of our citizens?
Awesome. Thank you, Dan. All right. Our final case study is a really cool one. We had initially started talking to the client, and they wanted us to do something that was really bleeding edge. And then when we sat down to do our technical due diligence, we determined that it wasn't quite possible to do what they were asking. So we had to pivot the project. And when we ended up pivoting the project in a new direction, it ended up being one that I think was very novel and very surprising. And we ended up delighting the customer. The person who managed this is VJ. VJ, again, I think you did an incredible job on this project, and I can't wait to share a little bit more about what you did with the call. Please go ahead.
Rash. Okay, and this is quite interesting project. Okay, so when client stepped into this project, when I had the discussion for this project, he just came with one-liner saying that I just want to give highlights of my company's customers, competitors, like want to give their career information, say that our customer rates are better than any other customers billing dates. Okay, that's what is the overall project about. He just came with one liner. Okay, so he doesn't like have any terms of what kind of application he's looking for. He just wants, like, we have a bill, they can upload any bills, and they can get the best plan that offers from the client. Okay, so when this project came to it was like really it was like I want to thank first to the design community because they are the major strength for this project. When this came as, I like my co-pilot team, for example, I just took Vignesh and Parviki. Okay, I was the co-pilot for this project. It was like we had a short discussion, and it started in simple wireframe kind of stuff, and it has eventually into a challenge. The output of the challenge was astonishing, and it was very good effort. Okay, the kind of effort which came out from the design project was like I used to have a weekly status call with the client. Okay, once I get the design output, final submission, in the status call, the client senior manager representing to this product stepped into this call, and he has given a feedback to me in the call saying that the outputs of the design was very like it's tremendous, and it was like an awesome quality. We didn't expect such a kind of design for this project. And the top 5 submission, he said, like, we are having a tough time to select which one to go for implementation. That's the credibility that we got from the output of this particular design project, because the client doesn't have any idea about what kind of tool to be generated. They have just like want to do a comparison and give the better result. Okay, they didn't have much idea about how to start it also. But when like Vignesh and me like had a discussion with Parvika, and when we stepped into the design, it came out in the way where like the senior executive of the client team stepped into the call and expressed his view about the design. So I just really want to thank the entire Topcoder community, design community team, by giving the varieties of option where like clients struggle to take the winner submission. And he said like we had a hard time to take the winning submission, and that's the best part of this design, which was like getting key members and also the senior members into the call to give such an output for this. So I really thank Parviki and the entire team, and also Vignesh. So that's about the design part of it. So when it comes into development, this is like just what is the client expectation is to compare the bills and identify we need to identify their career, and we want to understand their current coverage, and we need to give them an highlight reason. If we switch from current coverage to this coverage, what will be the best things will happen, and how much saving it could render for us. So The way it has been like implemented and it has been shown to us is like it got an to be fact, like it's in pilot phase. The client got lots of get like tremendous support from some of the key customers. Okay, so in terms of development, I just want to congratulate like Stanlo once again, a co-pilot who has worked on this project. This is also like it's like time based. It's almost around 3 months to finish this project. In terms of like development, it was like it's an art time where once we the design phase itself, we took around some 15-20 days. Okay, then we started on development. Where the automation was learned in weekly basis, and this automation has ensured like every 10 days we had a demo, and we were able to demonstrate with every other competitor's bill, and we are able to give the right appropriate figures for them, what will the exact cost saving. So that's the best part of the project, getting the accuracy of what will be the saving per month. That part has been handled very good way, and I want to thank the development community members who did this. Okay, because like in weekly basis I used to launch challenges. So I launched a couple of F2F and challenges for this one, and the way like integrating the code and getting it tested, and it was like in 7 weeks I used to go give a demo on every different careers, and that gained the client more satisfaction, and they were like very happy, and at the end of 90 days it was like they were ready to take into the next version of the project. So that's the best part of this project. Like, I want to thank the design community and also the development community members who did an awesome job for this one. And the budget was around 60K for this project, and we are able to maintain everything well inside the budget. That's another best part we did on this project. So
Awesome.
thanks to the team.
Sorry, Vijay, please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks to Perviki and Stanlo, who did an awesome job in this particular project by understanding the client. Even though it came as one-liner, doesn't have much inputs, we are able to take this project and get the best things for them, and it really worked out. And client is like, it has yielded us and several other projects with the help of this project. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you, Vijay. All right, so Dan, one thing that we had forgot to mention was who helped work on the CDC project.
Yeah, that's Jingbo was a fantastic co-pilot, and he had a great repertoire with the client. They were super excited to meet him. For anyone's out there who's ever Googled Jingbo, he's got a lot of credentials to go with his name. And our client actually sent us an email kind of gasping that we were going to have somebody with so many credentials and so much clout in the industry actually helping us run this project. So it was fantastic to work with him.
Fantastic. Awesome. So now we want to open up the floor to questions. So if anyone has any questions around the projects that we've gone over, okay, looks like we have a quick poll. So out of the projects that we discussed, which one do you think would have been the toughest to deliver? And the options are Pet Tracker, Market Price Optimization, IFA, the CDC text classification app, and finally the switching tool. So the poll should be visible for you now in another window, and please submit. Harshit, how long do we wait for the poll results?
Yeah, I think, yeah, I'm going to wait like 15 more seconds and then.
Cool.
End the poll. Yeah.
All right. While we're waiting for the results, open floor. If anyone has any questions around the type of work that we've done, what work we're going to be working on in the future, open floor.
I have a question, Raj.
Sure.
Yes. So, like you have been working with Topcoder, and you have worked almost like, I don't know the number yet, but you must have worked with several clients and on several projects. Which one has been your favorite, and which one? I probably know the answer, but I still want to hear it from you.
Sure. So my favorite project has been the ISS Fit app. This was an iPad-based application that we had developed for NASA. It took me a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get that live. It was the longest, hardest, most complex project I've ever worked on. I think I was working on it for a total of about 4 or maybe 5 years. But it's live, it's on the space station, it's being used. As part of my work on developing that app, I got to spend a lot of time at Johnson Space Center in Houston, and I got to see a lot of really cool things. I've met a couple of astronauts, which is really cool. I was in a conference room that used to be the quarantine room for Apollo astronauts. And they showed me where all of the metal divots where the plexiglass used to be, or I think back in those days it was just glass. So that was really cool. And I will never, I will till the day I die, I will remember how much fun and how hard that project was. I actually got a gift from NASA. They gave me a NASA pin that was flown on the last space shuttle flight before the space shuttle fleet was retired. That was really cool. They gave me a little certificate as well.
Awesome. That's I think that's very precious. And thanks for all the NASA goodies you brought for us.
Yeah, they're awesome to work with. I encourage you all to go up and talk to them. If you're fortunate enough to attend a TCO, they are a great group of people, and I couldn't have asked for better clients to work with. They feel like my friends in some aspects, and they appreciate the community so much. They're huge proponents of crowdsourcing, and every year they're at the TCO. They're supporting the community. This year, they actually gave out an award, which I thought was pretty cool. Lynn Bukwo, who heads up the crowdsourcing at NASA, was there, and I thought that was pretty cool.
That's amazing, Rosh. We have a question, Rosh, in Q&A. The question is there a common best practice on how clients collaborate with members?
Okay, so let me restate the question. I want to make sure I understand it. Is there a best practice for how members or co-pilots should communicate with clients?
I think yeah, that's how we should phrase it, because at Topcoder, co-pilots are the ones that connect, probably, yes.
Sure. So the best advice I can give you is to make sure that you're always being professional. And how I approach professionalism is ensuring that when I go into a call, I am prepared to speak about the subject matter, that there is an agenda ahead of time, and that I know what my discussion points are going to be. When we go into calls, especially with clients, and we're not prepared, that shows a lack of professionalism. So my advice is when you are invited to attend a call, make sure that you understand your part in that call, and then how you can contribute to the success of the call and the project. That was a very good question. Who's throwing these hard balls?
That was anonymous.
Keep them coming. All right, let's talk about the poll results.
Yeah.
So out of the projects we discussed, which one do you think would have been the toughest to deliver? The options were Pet Tracker, Market Price Optimization, IFA, the CDC Text Classification app, and the switching tool. 53% of you voted on the Market Price Optimization. So Sanjay, can you tell us a little bit more about market price optimization, what that means? And then I just want to give a little bit more context for who the client is. I'm not going to say their name, but I do want to tell you that they are a global hardware and software company. Every single office, every single home office, and everyday consumers use their technology. So they have thousands and thousands of SKUs per country and tens of thousands of products across the world. So market price optimization, what does that mean in the context of all of these different products that they're selling, Sanjay?
Yeah, so I think how to look at it, like let me think over it. How to, like, without telling their name, uh, how to make it. Okay, so consider it. They are big manufacturer in computer world, and these price optimizations are necessary things. When anything goes into market, there is a price optimization. They go through, like, what goes into that physical thing. So all that thing is controlled via this internal application, and there is a process where things are put into that physical device, and they track even a single, like, I don't want to say what is that. So if there are 1,000 components which goes into that physical device, all are tracked using this application. People submit the request, the amount of dollar in US, how the shipping shall happen, how the parts will be flown from one country to other country, how they are approved, who is the approver, everything happens in this application. So if they are deciding a device should go into the market, or they even make a device, uh, everything goes from this application. So that's how complex this application is. I could not name the companies. That's why I have to give in a context which is, like, still not very open.
I think
So
I think you did a great job. Thank you, Sanjay. Cool. So, sorry,
We
go
have
ahead.
one more question, Raj.
Sure.
It's how do you address security testing requirements for, say, market cap requirement?
Sure. So, security at Topcoder we take very, very seriously. One of the first things we do is we ensure that any challenge that may have sensitive or confidential information, that information is secure, meaning it is only accessible by the people that need to have access to it. So it's typically a project manager or a co-pilot, or if in the event we need to involve members of the community, we'll ensure that the challenge we're running requires a non-disclosure agreement. So a non-disclosure agreement, also known as an NDA, is a legal document protecting the client's and Topcoder's proprietary, sensitive, confidential information. It forbids the person signing that document from sharing or divulging any information that they have receive as part of the course of a project. So an NDA is just one piece that we're doing. On the next co-pilot call, I'm going to talk a little bit more about how we're going to use GitLab moving forward, how we're going to centralize access and storage of that code, how we're going to create time-based limits on who can access the code. Now, circling back to the question of how do we ensure security for our clients? So there are things we do on a code level when we store the code. There are things we do on a challenge and access level to prevent any confidential information being divulged. And then there are things we do on a member level where we may have a special contract in place. To answer your question?
Yep.
Cool.
Uh,
All right. Please go ahead.
I have one question. I have another question actually.
Sure.
So I was hearing from Sanjay about MPO application, and then heard from you guys about all the applications you worked on. So which is harder? That's a is it harder to do and revamp an already built application to a newer technology, or is it harder to start from scratch? In the other one you already have the requirements clear and specified. In this one you are the client might come back and say I want to add more things here. with time, with designs or new features.
All right. So your question is it easier to work on a greenfield application, so building something from scratch, or is it harder to work on an application that where we may not know the requirements, or we may not have built the application? Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Cool. I want you guys to answer this. So Dan, VJ, Sanjay, let's start with VJ. What's your take?
Yeah.
So again, the question is, is it easier to work on projects from scratch, or is it harder to work on projects where we're building off an existing code base?
It's easier in greenfield when it comes into execution from project which is like already we have the code base and we have to take it forward and do an refactor, like refactoring the entire thing and making it happen. And I would say in terms of execution, it is easier in greenfield development from a project manager perspective. Okay, but in terms of TC strength is it's not greenfield because we got lots of credibility for Topcoder by revamping the code and refactoring it out. That's where is our strength, where we got an immense credibility of quality deliverable, where our Topcoder community members have proven it out. In my few of my projects, it's really helped me to gain the confidence of the customer from the refactoring of the code only. Okay, most of my clients are well surprised and happy with the way of the quality that we got from the TC members in terms of refactoring and the quality that we got from the members. That was like the best part, I would say. In terms of execution, I would still go with greenfield, which is much easier for us. Okay, and team rocks it out. But the strength and the credibility is like refactoring. I would say we are strong in that, and we will be always stay one step ahead in terms of client thinking, in terms of refactoring.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
None in the chat, or I've run out of questions now.
Okay. All right. So today,
I'll ask you when I'm personally meeting you guys.
no, this has been awesome, and just a quick recap. So the type of work that Topcoder is capable of performing, it stretches from the most simple one screen web app to very complex screen applications that have a lot of complex business logic, to applications that have to work and function in very hard or disruptive environments. And none of this would have been possible. Not the design, not the development, not the packaging of the applications and shipping it to our clients. None of this would have been possible if it's not for our community. So when we talk about Topcoder, Topcoder is not just a company, but it's a community. And if you haven't yet joined, please check out Topcoder Nation on Facebook. It's really cool. It's very inspiring to see a lot of the stories that are being posted. I love hearing from new members, and I love when they ask questions, because it shows that Topcoder is moving, looking towards the future. Has a company, as a community, we're looking towards a future where people who want to learn, upskill themselves, and then also work on very complex work, or participate on very complex work and projects, have the opportunity. So I think we're going to wrap up the call. Thank you to my co-panelists, Dan, VJ, Sanjay. Thank you to all of the co-pilots involved in the production of, or the development of these applications. And thank you to all of the members who participated. And I hope everyone has a great day.